is a very rudimentary way of balancing your system, that you're putting wrong things and then you're trying to correct it with right things. The highest number of antacids in the world, nearly 60% of the world's antacids are sold in America, the most affluent population on the planet. This means they have a whole choice of nourishment. They can eat the best food, but no, they will eat the worst food because commercial forces will decide what you eat. You cannot eat consciously anymore what you want to eat. Just I'm saying, if everything becomes fresh food, in the yogic culture, if you cook something, the maximum time in which you can eat it is 1.5 hours, 90 minutes. Before that, you should have eaten the food. After that, we won't touch the food because it has started gathering tamas, inertia will begin to happen. If you want to experiment, you can experiment, eat something very fresh for 1 week, eat something which is processed and kept for 1 month, 2 months and then eat it, you will see the level of alertness in the system, you will notice it in your experience. If you don't feel thirsty, if you don't drink water, nothing is going to happen, you're going to be fine. It's only in America you will die if you don't drink water. And nowhere else people simply drink water. When they get thirsty, they drink water, otherwise they're fine, even in a desert. It's only in America, in cold climate, everybody's carrying a bottle and sipping continuously because the marketing machines have done this to them that they must drink lots of water. Excessive consumption of water, especially if it's done in small sips, body absorbs. When it absorbs, the sodium levels, which are very delicately balanced, will drop. The rest of the body also is affected but may not be noticeable, but in the brain, sodium levels dropping will lead to swelling of the brain. This does not mean your brain is growing. Swelling means it's a kind of sickness, okay? Not expansion of the brain, it's swelling up because of lack of sodium content. So because there's not enough sodium, more water goes into the brain, trying to supply the required sodium to keep the balance. So more water in your brain means you will slosh, psychological imbalances will come. See, if you drink lots of water at one go, body will decide how much to absorb, how much to throw out. But if you keep sipping through the day, body kind of gets deceived and tends to absorb more water than it should. But let's say right now you drink 2 liters of water, all of it is not going to go into the system. What is needed it will take, rest of it will be shunted out. Nobody need to drink water simply because you think it's a good thing to do. When you feel thirsty, you must drink water just to ensure you're drinking enough. Drink 10% more than what you actually need, a couple of cups more, just to ensure that you don't drink less. You have a certain amount of time before you can drink, that it's not an emergency. At the same time, when you need water, when you're thirsty, if you don't drink, it'll cause damage to the system. Damage to the heart is immense when the water that is needed is not there in the system. You know, there's a North Pole and a South Pole. This means these are the magnetic centers. And you also know the whole land masses, whole continents have been slowly being pulled towards the north, they've been traveling. Know this? Because the magnetic pull of the North Pole is slowly pulling all the land masses upward. So such a huge magnetic pull where the continents are moving up, that kind of magnetic pull is constantly in enforcement across the globe. Suppose you had a little bit of anemia, if you went to your doctor, what does he prescribe for you? So it seems to be like it's an important ingredient of your blood, yes? So if iron is floating around in your blood, and if I put a very powerful magnet to the top of your head, it is possible that slowly blood may start moving in that direction, isn't it? Let's say if it's a very, very powerful magnet, it may start slowly pulling it up because there is elements of iron in the blood. Your body is designed like this, that your heart, which is the pumping station of the circulatory system, is 3/4 of the way up, not halfway down, because it is difficult to pump against gravity, easier to pump towards gravity, so it's placed here. Generally, all the pipes that are flowing down are larger ones. What is going up are much finer ones. As it goes up here, they're almost hair-like. So minute that the circulatory system in your brain is such that if one extra drop enters there, hemorrhages will happen. People have strokes. So now you were like this, now you went like this. Already there is a little bit of imbalance in the system because heart was pumping, calculating the gravitational resistance. Now suddenly there's no gravitational resistance, you became like this, and now you put your head towards the north. Slowly, it gets pulled towards your brain. So one thing that could happen to you is you could have disturbed sleep. If you put your head to the north and sleep, you could have disturbed sleep, all kinds of dreams happening. If you are in your old age, it is possible that you can have a stroke or you could just die in your sleep. It's very much possible. Not that if you sleep one day you will fall dead. Every day, every day, every day, if your bed is arranged that way, that every day you're sleeping, put your head to the north, you are asking for trouble. Some kind of trouble, we do not know what kind of trouble you will get, that depends on the strength of your system. If it is weak, very weak, you may fall dead, or you may get a stroke, or you may just get disturbed sleep, you may just have nightmares, or during the day you act funny. So many things will happen because excess circulation is happening in the brain when it should not be happening, simply because you put your head to the north. North, no. See, gender is a personal thing. I'm sorry, I'm putting it in a very basic way. What is in somebody's pants is not my business or your business. It is only relevant in a few places like bathrooms and bedrooms and somewhere. In rest of the places, your gender is irrelevant. It's a question of your competence, what you can do, what you cannot do, what you're capable of, what you're not capable of. We need to bring the world to this place that what kind of body you have is not my business. Only in bodily relationships it matters. In rest of the time it's not my business. For this, women also should think this way, but right now it is… I don't know, it's a complete, you know, man's dream is being played out by the women, you know. Because, you know, like yesterday I was… because I was supposed to talk to some musician, and I said, okay, let me hear something, so they played a video. I'm sorry I'm using such words, but I'm saying because it pains me that women are being projected like this. And a musician is on stage in underpants. I said, why are musicians in underpants? They said, Sadhguru, only that sells. I said, what is this? So this is horrible exploitation of the woman, and women are cooperating in this. She can wear what she wants, it's not my business. But if she's wearing that only because that's what sells, that is not right in the society. It's her choice what she wants to wear, but it's not her choice. Somebody else is determining her choice, which is not choice at all. So, this is important both for young boys and girls, they need to come up with this, that your body is your business, all right? It is not something that everybody needs to be involved with your body on the street. Everybody need not be involved with your body. People need to be involved with your intelligence, people need to be involved with your competence, people need to recognize your genius.
Don't be killed.
Everybody on the street need not be involved with your body. Body has its purposes, body has its beauty, body has its nature. That is in a different way. I am not trying to say what should be the dress code. No, I'm saying a man should not decide a woman's dress code, that's all I'm saying. Right now it looks like it's man's perversion which is deciding a woman's dress code. This needs to change if women have to be free. So this is why I'm saying, as from man's muscle it is moving to a cerebral nature of activity, similarly from a woman's flesh it has to move to a cerebral nature of activity. So right now this may sound like an absurd thing, no, this is how women are, no, this is how man has expected woman to be. This is not how women are. I know enough women in my life, all around me, to clearly know that this is not how they are, but they think this is what is expected out of them.
Outstanding. You just got us a ticket into a marked stronghold.
Now, in this world, more money, probably 10 times or even 100 times more money is being spent on hair products than on the brain products. So it looks like a whole lot of people don't care what is inside, they only care what is outside. So, for those people who are in a certain state of their life where they need to intensely focus on something, very intensely, where they need undivided attention to achieve what they want to achieve, normally we shave their heads so that they don't have to stand in front of the mirror every day. See, I don't have to stand in front of the mirror, every day I look the same. So I don't have to check how am I looking today. So when you're focused on something else, certain things get less significance. How we look, is it important? Yes, it is.
Swapping max.
To some extent, it is important in our life. But right now, you're not going to walk the ramp, you're going to the class, okay? So all you have to do is bundle up your hair, tie it up on top of your head so that they can't see your hair, they can just see the knot and they can see the size of your head, that's a good thing. It is not that one should not be concerned about their appearance, of course it matters, but where does it matter, where does it not matter is something we have to decide. If it matters too much everywhere, I've seen people about 27 times in a minute, if you're adjusting your hair half the time in your life, what the hell are you going to do of any significance? I'm not saying you should not have hair, I'm not saying you should not keep it well, but if you are so concerned about your appearance, obviously you're a bit empty inside. There's some more stuff within you. You wouldn't be so concerned about your appearance. Taking care of our appearance to a certain extent is important. Well, if you're going into the films or you're a model or something,
Moving this
you
way.
have to take care of it much more, maybe. But for an engineer, if you're presentable, it's fine.
Maybe right now it's not possible for everybody, at least one day in a week, please wear natural fiber. Polyfiber has entered our bodies, has entered the plants, has entered the animals, has entered the food chain, water, soil, everything.
I read the target is in your area.
This is one thing that's gone under the radar. Everybody is trying to shoot at that little plastic bag, which must be done, of course, but
Hostile.
the polyfiber cloth is the largest pollution which is going under the radar. It is sitting on our clothing, on our body, constantly polluting everything because the micro polyfiber is just getting into everything. So coming to fashion, I think all of you must be style icons in some way. That means you're not just imitating some rubbish that some model or somebody does, something that fits you.
Because each body is made differently, there is a certain way to arrange aesthetics for your own self. For your body, and style is also for your mind and emotion. Isn't it? Not just about your body. So it must arrange itself like that and… Obviously the message is you don't care a hoot what other people think about you. Let that come into every aspect of your life, you don't really care what other people saying about it.
Now this is going against all the popular teaching. You are heading towards schizophrenic condition. What is happening in your mind, your thought, your emotion, or psychological, whatever your thought process is, whatever your emotional process is just local gossip. If you want to ensure that you never go insane, the first and foremost step that you need to take is tasted it for a moment, just for one moment. There is something beyond what you think and feel. If that has become a real thing for you, even for a moment, then you must invest your life towards that. Yes, I'm trying to, but petty things carry me away. So, even though the taste of the beyond is somewhere on your tongue, you still can get entangled because you're little becoming inflated personality. You're little in love with yourself. Is that wrong? Nothing wrong. It's just called madness. Because love is an effort, love is a longing to include something as a part of yourself. Love is a process, love is a possibility where you could become larger than who you are. You could become more than what you are by inclusion. Now, if you wallow in your own self-love, now this is going against all the popular teaching. People have been telling you, first you must love yourself before you love anybody. If you cannot love yourself, how can you love anybody? If you say, I want to love myself, now you are heading towards schizophrenic condition. Now you're creating two in one. If you want to ensure that you never go insane, the first and foremost step that you need to take is you take away all divisions and you see this is an individual. An individual means he cannot be further divided, he's indivisible. You cannot divide him anymore. This is one entity, you can't make it into two. If you make it into two, I love myself, now you're heading towards madness. First step has been taken. If life situations cooperate, you will get there quick. If life situations don't create that situation for you, you may manage within socially accepted levels of that madness. So, the reason why, even if divine touches your tongue, even if the taste of the divine is there on your tongue, you can still get entangled, is simply self-love. It is a sure step, first step towards madness. Because with the taste of the divine on your tongue, you have the necessary foolishness in you to fall in love with something so limited which you call as myself. That is a sure sign of madness. If you had never tasted it, then this is all you know, it's okay. And the taste of the divine is still lingering and you're getting entangled with something so limited as your personality, that is definitely a sign of madness, there is no question about it. You're doomed. But all this talk, don't get depressed. Should I be an optimist or a pessimist on the spiritual path? If you're an optimist, you will be misled. If you're a pessimist, you'll be misled. So when you're down, I up you. When you're up, I down you, because I want you to be a realist. Only one who is in contact with reality will grow. Optimists will hallucinate. Pessimists will get depressed. Both will not get anywhere.
Hostile.
You have to be a realist. We need you in reality. What is happening in your mind, your thought and your emotion are psychological. They are just a small offshoot of life. It's not life. Right now, it may be keeping you fully engaged, but it is just a small offshoot of life. It is not life. You can think what you want. Even if you're fast asleep, you're still life. In fact, you're more life when there is no psychological activity. If you have known a few moments of what you call as beyond, those were few moments where you were free from the psychological. Those few moments of freedom from the psychological, you are more present than ever. So, that little taste that you have known, you must invest your life in that direction, not what your thoughts say, not what your emotions say. Your emotions and thoughts can say whatever they want. They will say one thing today, tomorrow morning they'll change their opinion. Whatever your thought process is, whatever your emotional process is just local gossip, very localized to you. Enjoy it if it's nice, but don't believe it.
A rogi will not sleep in the night. A bogi will not sleep in the night. A yogi also will not sleep in the night, because for him also night is very conducive. What light does to you is, it makes everything distinct. Suppose lights went off,
Contract available.
there is a certain sense of lack of boundaries in the night. So for yoga, for sexuality, for friendship, for being together, for study, for focus, for all these things, night seems to be more conducive. There are three types of people who do not sleep in the night. A rogi will not sleep in the night. A rogi means a sick person because he cannot sleep. A bogi will not sleep in the night. A pleasure seeker will not sleep in the night because night is conducive for him, for his kind of business. A yogi also will not sleep in the night because for him also night is very conducive.
So, cashing that target.
Which one are you? You can decide, I don't want to say anything about it. Why night is? See, light. We value light because our visual apparatus are made in a certain way. What light does to you is, it makes everything distinct. See now, because it is lit, I can see this person, this person, this person, this person, this person. Suppose lights went off and it just became dark, I just see a mass of people. I don't see this person, this person, this person. So there is a certain sense of lack of boundaries in the night. So for yoga, for sexuality, for friendship, for being together, for study, for focus, for all these things, night seems to be more conducive because the difference between what is you and what is the other comes down in the night, simply because our visual apparatus function like this. Where there is no light, everything merges in our experience. So a yogi, a bogi and a rogi, all three of them make use of the night. You can also make use of it, there's no problem unless you're sleeping in the classroom. If you're not sleeping in the classroom, it's fine, nothing wrong with it. I was made like this. If nobody wakes me up, till 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'll just sleep like a rock, not wake up and roll around, simply dead.
Got eyes
But
on
I
enemy
started
stronghold.
practicing yoga at the age of 12. In about maybe 8 to 9 months. After that, no matter where I am, even till this day, but at 3:35, 3:40, I just come awake. Because some changes happen in the nature at that time. My body just comes awake. If I want, I can get up and do what I want. If I don't want, I can please come home, but it always comes awake. So you have to bring some sensitivity into the system that you are a product of this planet. Whatever nonsense individuals may think about themselves, we are all just a pop-up from this planet. You've seen those pop-ups on the computer? Pop, pop. This, you're just a pop-up. You'll be gone. You can't believe you will be gone. Ah, me? I will be gone? Yes, all the very smart people, countless number of people who walked this planet before and you and me, where the hell are they, huh? Not a sign. All became topsoil, isn't it so? Weren't they pop-ups? Aren't you a pop-up? You may think you have a great life and this and that. As far as the earth is concerned, it's just recycling its soil. Yes, throws you up and draws you back, throws you up and draws you back. So, in this little pop-up, the important thing and the most important thing is to create sensitivity within you, such sensitivity that every dimension of life comes into your experience. Before you fall dead, is it not important you experience this life in this fullest possible scale? Yes or no?
Amo tipo here.
Experience means people think we must party every day. No, same damn thing how many times you will do. There is much more for the human life to explore. You must become sensitive. When I say sensitive, because the word sensitive is used in the wrong way in the sense, when people say, oh, she's very sensitive, we are supposed to understand, she will get hurt for just about anything. Yes? No, being sensitive to life and being ego-sensitive are two different things. Being sensitive to life means if you walk into this hall, you experience everything that's here, you don't miss a thing. If you walk outside, you don't miss a thing. Every dimension of life should come into your experience. So, developing sensitivity means, if you simply close your eyes, you must know what face of moon it is right now. Because all this is playing in your body. Every day it is playing in your system. Do you see if it's a full moon or a new moon, the entire ocean is coming up?
Entry secured.
There are tides,
Expect
isn't it?
significant resistance.
You have been to the ocean side or there are tides? The whole ocean is trying to rise. 72% of your body is water. You think nothing is rising? Is it? For every position of the sun, moon and many things that are happening to the planet, they're happening to you. You must become life sensitive. Then you will know how to manage every aspect of your life. Don't become ego sensitive, don't become society sensitive, life sensitive if you become. What's happening with this life if you know this one thing all the time? You will see, you got your GPS on, there's really no problem, you will never get lost. It doesn't matter who says what kind of situations you're put into, you are never ever lost because you're life sensitive. This is all this life needs, that this has to become life sensitive. Right now, we have developed a psychological structure which has got nothing to do with life, it's got something to do with the social scene, got nothing to do with the life. Your intellect, the sharpness of your intellect could go up 100%. Medically, scientifically, we can prove it today, your blood chemistry will change, everything about you will change.
Time's up. Reinforcements are outside looking for parking.
Do we Shiva? Do we meditate? Do we do yoga? we what? How do we…
I wouldn't want to use the word yoga because when I see the yoga that people are doing in the West, particularly in America,
It's not right.
it scares me.
Why? Why?
Because it's a very subtle technology. It's not an exercise. People think it's an exercise. If you want to just stay fit, play tennis, swim, climb a mountain, you will be fit. You don't have to do yoga for that. See, the yogic system is a profound science of aligning the geometry of your body with the cosmic geometry. When I say aligning the geometry of your body with cosmic geometry, what we need to understand is that solar system is working like a potter's wheel to generate this body. The Adiyogi, the first yogi, over 15,000 years ago said this, unless human body evolves further, there are no other ways. And human body cannot evolve further unless there are some fundamental changes in the solar system or the arrangement of the planets. Today, the modern neurologists are saying something very similar. It's uncanny that they're saying something very similar after 15,000 years. The big question that a lot of people are asking is, can human brain evolve further? So now they're saying the physical laws, not the neurological principles, the physical laws will not allow human brain to evolve further, because the only way it can evolve is you can increase the size of the neuron or the number of neurons in the brain. If you increase the size of neurons, the amount of power they will consume, the amount of energy that they will need will be too taxing for the body. Even now, as you sit here in a restful condition, 20% of your energy consumption is by the brain. It's such a small part.
Okay.
It's consuming 20% of your energy right now, 80% is by the remaining part of the body. You have seen if somebody worries a lot, they lose weight.
True. I do that. I do.
So a lot of people are slim, maybe not by exercise, they're just worried. So, if you increase the neuronal size, the physical loss will not permit it. And if you increase the number of neurons, the clarity that you have will go away. So they're saying because of the physical laws are essentially a consequence of the way the planet is moving in relation with the sun and the other planets for us. So unless the physical laws change, which means unless some drastic changes happen in the solar system, the human brain cannot evolve further. This is modern neurology. This Adiyogi said 15,000 years ago, that unless some basic changes happen in the solar system, human body cannot evolve. These are the only ways you can do it. He said you can only learn to use it better and better, but you cannot evolve it further. There is medical and scientific evidence today that if you are pleasant for 24 hours, without a moment of anxiety, irritation, agitation, if you're just blissful for 24 hours, your intellect, the sharpness of your intellect would go up 100%.
Really?
Yes, your body and mind functions way better. Medically, scientifically, we can prove it today. Your blood chemistry will change, everything about you will change. If you just remain very joyful, blissful for 24 hours,
all these things that were done were essentially to create a certain enhanced sense of life energy so that the people who live in this house will naturally move towards well-being.
there is a way of consecrating your home, entire home, every part of it, so that there is some sense of aliveness and energy. Today you have built homes which are so large, it's very difficult to make them alive just by living. If you just had a one-room house and you lived in great sense of love and joy, you can easily keep it very alive. But today your house has 10, 15 enclosures. It's very difficult for any human being to keep it alive. Once in a way, if you do not live in it, slowly, if you enter certain parts of your home, you will see it feels like a coffin. I want all of you today, you know your house well enough, where you need to open your eyes, you open. Just walk with your eyes closed, with your left hand outstretched a little bit, and just walk, just feel and walk around the house. You will see many parts of your house will feel like a coffin. Some parts may be alive. Usually I find kitchens are alive because it's the only place something is happening. Everywhere else, if you live in a very, very alive way, you can live in something. But when you have 12, 15, 20 enclosures in your house, It's very, very difficult for anybody to enliven all that. This is all that's happened. The thing is, what this Punya Puja is, the puja is about getting you into an energetic space where you become alive to these things. So the Punya Puja is to enliven the house. The space in the house should become alive. So Punya Puja once in a way, at least once a year, would light it up. That is, you have the space around you alive and it supports you. People are not moving about joyfully, either they're staring at their computer screen, or they're depressed, or they're sleeping. Inertia of various levels, and various levels of stresses and tensions, it slowly builds up in the space and it can overwhelm a person. Any number of people will find, if they're feeling sick, particularly if they're feeling psychologically, kind of oppressed, you will see if they just walk out of that space, they will feel great. If they move to another place, they will almost become healthy. Many times, many times for most people. Not everybody who is having psychological problems are pathologically ill. Most of them are victims of the situations in which they exist, various type of situations. Energy situation is one of them, and an important one. So Punya Puja is a way of consecrating your home, entire home, every part of it, so that there is some sense of aliveness and energy. And it's good to make use of the support of Punya Puja. It's a wonderful process which can be done.
People have businesses, careers, family, life. One of the main things which does not allow a human being to find helpful, peaceful potential is friction. Friction means you're getting into a fight with somebody. But when you try to be active in a big way, it builds up around you. Bhairava Yantra is for those who are actively involved with life. They want to lubricate. So Devi and all the forms, different types of yantras available with regard to Devi is about that, to bring grace in such a way that you can take up things and do things and you still do not get into friction. Her grace will take care of that. We estimated if the homes are anywhere between 2,000 to 2,500 square feet of home, we thought the small yantra would do. When we noticed the homes are larger than that, we said, this is not enough, and we brought the Avigna. And Avigna has a slightly more business-like attitude towards it. More for success, prosperity. But of course, those who want to make use of it for spiritual processes can always make it. That element is always the basic element. The idea is to create an energy form, to create assistance for people to do whatever they want to do.
Because different spaces, indoor, in different spaces, there are different kinds of… one thing is smell. There's also different kinds of energy structures which will happen. The shape and size of the room will do this. This is why there is such attention to the shape and the size of the room. In Indian culture, there is a whole attention to the shape and size of the room in which you live. Because the shape and size of the room, in some way, if it is not heavily ventilated, when I say heavily ventilated, both sides, two walls are open and it's happening, then it feels almost like outdoor. That's different. Most homes are not made this way because they have neighbors, you can't open too many windows too many openings won't work, there is weather, there are many things, all right? And there is air conditioning, worse. So, different shapes and sizes kind of create different kinds of energy structures.
Loading.
These energy structures can, if they become very strong, can determine your psychological and emotional state, which either can be conducive or can become an impediment in who you want to be. So, certain substances
Valuable here.
in India, there is something called as samrani, which is a very powerful thing, which is used even when people are ill. First thing they do is this, and it is now been found it also kills certain types of bacteria in the air and also on the surfaces. So especially if there is a sick person in the house, samrani everywhere. If they want to do some auspicious event, samrani all over the place. It's a certain kind of regime which as the tree drips. This has a powerful impact on the atmosphere. It is not necessarily fragrance, it is a different kind of thing, that it clarifies the air, it just makes the atmosphere feel more lively. Fundamentally, whatever structures that are there, it will make indoor like outdoor. You burn a mild just mild samrani in the house will make it feel like, though you're indoors, the feeling is outdoors because it's an unstructured space. One can use it in a sensible manner, but these days incense is being made with chemical stuff. Best you don't burn those things.
This sense of no human being should live in an unconsecrated space is something which is deep-rooted in this culture. It's not just about what you eat, it's not just about what kind of work you do, what kind of space you live in. This is very important in the East. Griha Pravesham is you built a new house and your family wants to move. So, you want the house to be in the right kind of condition for you to move in. The design of the house, the aesthetics of the house, what kind of paint, what kind of this, all this is different. That is also important. But what kind of energy fills this place is very, very important. Before you live there, nobody ever sleeps in a house which is uninitiated. So it is a minor form of consecrating space. Before moving into the space must be consecrated, otherwise people won't go and live there. So, people always consecrated their homes in whichever way they know best, and only then moved in. Because if you want to produce generations of enhanced human beings, you need this kind of space. Otherwise, only by accident or by personal dint, somebody may become something. You won't produce a generation of beautiful people. This fortune almost every family had, because before they moved into homes, they did this. Periodically they did something to enhance the house. This is part of almost every house. Every household at least once a year conducted the needed rituals and processes to see that the space in the house is enhanced. A basic understanding, or rather an essential understanding of how to generate a conducive atmosphere for a human being to grow to his full potential. So Griha Pravesham was just this, that you want to create the right kind of soil for this plant to grow and flower and fruit. If you didn't
don't have to go in search of God or truth, it will rain upon you. I want you to pay attention. All of you should pay attention to small You must look at an ant. Whoever made this ant, has it been made with meticulous attention or simply, okay, just a bloody
Fully
ant?
loaded Terminus LTV
Huh?
and they're just
What do you
begging
think?
to be half-inched.
Very well made? Made or not? Very well made, isn't it? Fantastic manufacture. Not just a bloody ant.
I don't want to stress you out,
The
bro.
creator is the source of creation. He is willing to pay that much attention to a tiny little ant. Who the hell are you to decide what you like? There is a very big difference between doing what I like and doing what is needed. When you start doing what is needed, there is no such thing as what is like, what is the right one. If you just transcend this one thing, that I like something, I dislike something, if you just transcend this one thing, 90% of your spiritual work is over. That's all. Because the karma generating machine, the basis of bondage is just this. I like this, I don't like this. I love this, I hate this. Once you divide creation like this, your ability to touch that dimension, which we call as the source of creation, is out of reach for you.
Bounty hunt
Doing
contract
something.
available. Let's
Yeah.
move.
What is meant is where a human being comes to a place where he becomes available for grace. Grace is there. Question is, are we available? We like this,
Moving this way.
we don't like this. You like cockroach?
Marking extraction.
Suppose
Deliver cargo
Shiva
contracts
came
here.
in the disguise of a cockroach. What will you do? Namaskaram you'll do. But how will you know it is Shiva or just another cockroach? Huh? How will you know? You don't know. So better do namaskaram to every cockroach. Because who knows which one is Shiva? This is what this culture is. You see a tree, oh Shiva. You see a stone, Shiva. You see a dog, Shiva. You see a cow, Shiva. Because you
I'm
don't know.
driving.
You don't know today what is his disguise. Better not take a chance, isn't it? At least start with the human beings. You don't know in what disguise he's come today. Isn't it? This is why, whoever you see,
My cargo
who
vehicle's
knows
stashed
today what
there.
is the disguise?
If you can't get it open,
If you're like this, grace will be upon you. There's no question. You don't have to go in search. You don't have to go in search of God or truth. It will rain upon you.
Ammo depot here.
There will be no success in any area of life if in some way you do not become available to grace. That's for sure.
This is done with the science of what is called as Rasa Vaidya. It is the Indian alchemy that you can actually wear this bracelet on your arm.
This also leads to a state of nirbhaya or fearlessness.
Gives a certain level of protection to that person.
Two kinds of sutras, both are being called Abhaya
Let's
Sutra.
move.
The terminology Abhaya Sutra goes better with the Devi Sutra, which is red in color. When you get the sutra for the Panchabhuta Aradhana, which is connected to the Dhyanalinga, it is more to enhance certain dimensions of who you are, fundamentally to enhance the spiritual dimension. Then why is it being called Abhaya Sutra? You need to understand Bhaya means fear. The basis of fear is your physicality. If you are not physical, would you have fear? It is the limitations of the physical which causes fear. If you are not at all physical, you wouldn't be fearful of anything, isn't it? So in that context, it is Abhaya, but essentially, it is the sutra of transcendence. So, this also leads to a state of nirbhaya or fearlessness. We can call this the Nirbhaya Sutra, that is Abhaya Sutra. That is more like a protection. This is to enhance the spiritual dimension of who you are so that you become less physical. If you are not so physical, there's not much fear in you. So the Devi Sutra is more like a protection. There are two ways to be free of thieves.
I'm driving.
If you're always afraid a burglar may come into your house and steal, one way is to put a guard outside. Another way is not to have anything and nobody will come. Even if you invite him, he won't come. He'll go somewhere else. This is his way. Nothing, so nobody will come, so fearless. There, you want to put a guard. You still have stuff. You want a guard. I see many hands which have both. That's good. You can keep it for a minimum of 40 days. If you're not using soap, too much soap, it will last much longer.
We are creating what is called as a kavach or kavacham. This is done with the science of what is called as Rasa Vaidya. It is the Indian alchemy and it is done in a certain way that you can actually wear this bracelet on your arm. They come in different sizes. If you were wearing it where it can be seen, it's a small size, but if you want to wear it on your glove or something, or you can wear this during the daytime, when you go to sleep you can wear the big one so that it is in contact. It is done with the science of Rasa Yoga, Rasa Vaidya, and it's a consecrated piece. Well, this Bhairavi Raksha is it's something we've been offering in various forms for quite some time. So Raksha is mainly created to bring a certain sense of physiological balance. It's very effective in enhancing general energy levels, and above all the immunity will be much higher by using this. So, because there are so many immunological issues, that's one reason which made me decide to make this Raksha. Well, it brings a balance on that level of the body, the immune system and the cellular level, it brings a certain balance. It is a consecrated piece, it must be treated properly, it must be handled responsibly, it's very important.
This also is a kind of protection. You know, people use negative energies to affect other people's lives. You're
that here? Yes, Billi Shunyam, the black magic or whatever you call it, there are various kinds of arts. One Veda, out of the four Vedas, one Veda is dedicated towards this. The Atharvana Veda is all about how to manipulate energies to your benefit and somebody's detriment. If you wear Rudraksh, it also protects you against that kind of negative situations. Many
Moving
times,
this way.
these things could happen to people even though they're not directed towards them. Right now, let's say somebody is doing some black magic to me, but I am not receptive to it. You're sitting here, you may get it. Not necessarily it must be aimed at you. If you're susceptible at a certain moment, you will get it. So, many times people may go through bad patches and things like that. Don't ascribe this, I don't want to create fear in your mind, but many times we have seen people being influenced by certain things, not knowing what's happening, blaming all kinds of things, not knowing what exactly is happening with themselves. Wearing a simple mala gives a certain level of protection for that person. The main purpose is to make you available to grace. Because ultimately, it doesn't matter what circus you do, what yoga you do, what else you do, ultimately it's only by becoming available to grace, you become a possibility. This is why a devotee attains quicker than anybody, because he just offers himself like that. If that sense of offering and things are not brought in, yoga will become circus. Without grace, whatever you do, whether it is spiritual process, health, wealth, success, there will be no success in any area of life if in some way you do not become available to grace. That's for sure. Either you become consciously available or unconsciously in your own way you became available, okay? Every human being, every creature is becoming available in some way. But if you're consciously making that a part of your life, then everything works.
Reloading. Swapping max through here. I'm loading. Changing mag. Going dark. Come now, close that. Switching mags.
Here's how to complete... Mr. Reagan.
Get up, you got work to do. Thank you.
I need pistols. Like, there's no joke. You need Are you gonna do the DoorDash?
No!
Okay, I guess I'll wait and I can pay you as well. Whatever. I'll try to find something else.
What's wrong with your two accounts?
I don't have two accounts. Only one.
So what happened? One account you have signed up for.
This one is the one I want to sign up with yours. This one is the one that has it blocked.
Wait, why do you keep coughing?
I don't know, dude. There's something like just makes me want to cough.
But
You keep thinking it's like it's not, which I don't know why you keep thinking that.
Because it doesn't sound like a productive cough. It just sounds like you're like.
Oh, and you hear this how?
Because when I cough, I just feel the phlegm in here. Cough.
I can feel the phlegm in my throat, and I guess you don't know that. You just wouldn't know.
Well,
Not me.
we should be able to hear it, and we don't.
We.
Like anybody who hears you cough should be able to hear the deeper side of that cough. We, as in anyone around you. I'm just saying. Doesn't matter who. Is that how you respond to people? Is this how you respond to people? This is my way of replying. The way you respond to people. You're getting smart. You did, didn't you? I mean, if you do it to me, why wouldn't you do it to anyone at work? Unless... I have a feeling that might be a problem with you. Joe has that problem with authority.
Well, the fact that you think your authority is terrible.
I'm just saying at work. I'm not. See what I'm saying? Here's another mistake you're making. I'm not talking about me though. We
But-
jumped to work.
But
We're talking about work. Like, have you ever had problems
But you're saying
talking
I
back
have
to someone at work?
I have problems with you're saying that I'll have problems talking to you right
But
now. But then you're like
we
authority.
changed to work. I'm not saying me as authority. I'm saying work.
You
I'm clearly not authority. I'm just your brother.
You kind of think you
Oh
are.
my god. I think this definitely why you have to let go. Did you talked like that to you people at work, didn't you?
I don't know.
I think you did.
Man. The fact that you
fucking sold out everywhere, man.
I
I had to go to some rinky-dink place. I was like, who the fuck is Ralphie's Funhouse? And they were the only place that fucking had it. Let me get you a case for the. Do you have one?
No.
Okay, you want to cut the shit?
Might as well have them for both.
The other one's just the base. You can put it on your desk over there while you're gaming or whatever. But the other one, that one's a rare one. They didn't make very many of them.
All it was is just thing without a hat. I was hoping you'd have his own gun, his gun. It was like 1911. Not this thing.
Those are expensive ones too.
The other ones were.
I don't have any yet. These are the most expensive cases I have, and that's all I have.
I'll put it next to one in the box. This one I pretty much figured out pretty good back then.
Yeah, I mean the common ones you can buy them by the dozen. They're everywhere. It's just the chase that you never know what you'll get. That's the one you took to work. Just like, oh shoot. Still, that's no. That's the another short one. Like, why do you have 50 knives? Are you a hunter now too?
I didn't go hunting one day. I was hoping maybe one would hold us. So camping, I'm a little bit. What do you think?
None of those knives are even proper knives to do it with.
This one is. This is a knife where you can, cut meat and stuff. I got another one too. That's for
And
boning and eating.
and what makes you think that's a good idea to take that to work?
What makes it think it's not? What, am I gonna hurt somebody with it?
It's just in the future.
I know, I won't.
Please don't.
I know. See, that's all I needed. That's literally all I
It's just
needed to say.
I know, but it's just admonition never got to that point. That's what blows my mind. That it actually got to the point where you took it to work. That's
Yeah, but the overreaction of all of that shit was ridiculous.
Yo, what's going on with the pads on the sides? You took them off?
I have to because they don't fit on pretty much a desk. I had to take them off and put them on, take them off and put them on. Just because
Dude, this desk of yours is just...
It's too low.
No, it's because I have a feeling this isn't supposed to be a desk.
Well, actually, I could probably lift it.
But I'm saying I have a feeling the desk, this type of desk wasn't supposed to be a desk. I think it was just supposed to be tables. Because, like, how is it that almost every single chair that you've brought all over has had a problem getting underneath it?
you know, it's well lubricated life, everything works easy and…
So colors have some impact. The chakras in the body, or rather 112 chakras ascribed to some color. The color that you reflect will naturally add to the aura that you carry, opening up that dimension of perception which is referred to as the third eye. So they will seek always ochre or orange color. They don't want to gather life around them. Such people will choose to wear white. Devi is always red. If you come dressed in full red clothes, suddenly people will think you're vibrant. The color of the clothes or the colors of anything around you, does it have some impact? You need to understand this. How color happens, first of all. Why this seems to be white right now is because when the light falls on it, it reflects all of it, so it looks white. Why this seems to be red right now is not because it's red, it is just that it holds back all the colors and only reflects red. That's why you're seeing red. And what is red for you may not be red for some other creature. So color is not what it is, color is what it gives away. What you reflect will be your color, what you hold will not be your color. This is the nature of life, not just of color. That is the nature of the existence itself. What is thrown away is the quality of that substance. Now this reflects everything, so this is white. That reflects only red, so it is red. That reflects only blue, so it is blue. Everything else is held back. What it holds back, you don't see. What it gives away is what you see. So, how is color significant for human consciousness as such, or for any kind of spiritual process? The color that you reflect will naturally add to the aura that you carry. People on the ascetic path don't want to wear anything because they don't want to add any new things to them. They just want to work with what they have, they don't want to take on anything more. What you are right now, to work that out is quite substantial. Adding one more thing and one more thing, it complicates. So they don't want anything, they walk naked. If socially walking naked is difficult, they will put on one little loincloth so that socially there is no issue. The chakras in the body, all the 114 chakras, or rather 112 chakras ascribe to some color. The two do not ascribe to any color because they are not physical in nature. Anything that's physical in the existence naturally reflects light. Once it reflects light, it will have color in your perception. It may not have any particular color, or it may not have the color that you're seeing. You are only seeing what's being reflected. What you're seeing is the reflected light. You are not seeing the color of the substance that you're seeing. You're not seeing color of the thing that you're seeing. You're only seeing the color of the reflected light. Black reflects nothing. It holds back everything, so it becomes black. So why is it that spiritual processes, for different types of processes, we use different kind of colors is, those who are on a path where they don't want to gather anything, they will wear white. Those who are into a different kind of sadhana, if their sadhana is mild, but they're on the spiritual path, but they're involved with various aspects of life, they don't want to gather life around them. They want to be participating in life, but they don't want to gather anything. Such people will choose to wear white. People who are on a more intense sadhana, which is oriented towards a particular chakra in the body, which is known as Agna, between the eyebrows, they will wear orange because the color of the chakra is orange. They want to radiate that color because the whole process is about enlightenment and reaching to that state of knowing opening up that dimension of perception, which is referred to as the third eye. So they will seek always ochre or orange color, because that is the color of the Agni. The yellow robes were worn by Buddhist monks because the process that Gautama gave to the initial stage of Buddhist monks was very rudimentary process. He chose this process for the people because it did not need any preparation, but he wants to cause a wave of awareness. So he told them to wear the yellow robe, because yellow is the color of the Mooladhara. The most basic chakra in the body is Mooladhara. So he wants them to be stable. For a monk, the most important thing is he practices stability in his life. So he just wants them to be stable. So he told them to wear yellow robes. Later on, when they graduated to what he called as arhats, the arhats in the Buddhist tradition wore ochre robes, that is orange, as all the Indian sannyasis wear. But then after Gautama passed away, when they tried to spread the Buddhist way of life, people in India, there were at least 30% of the population were sannyasis or monks by nature. By culture, it was just like that. So this one more set of monks, they just accepted them and they became kind of part of them. They couldn't maintain a distinct identity. So from ochre, they shifted to a little more maroonish color, more for an identity's sake. But the basic Buddhist color is still yellow, because yellow is the color of the Mooladhara and it can be taught without preparation. Devi is always red, because red is the most vibrant color. Of all the colors, red is the most vibrant color, and feminine represents that. Whether you like it or not, there is a longing in a woman to be like a flower. So, when we say flower, the first thing that comes into most people's mind is always red. A red flower is always the real flower. Other things are on the way. Red is vibrant. It is the color of vibrance. Devi, or the feminine form of the divine, is the most vibrant form of divine. Something nobody can miss. The reason why, even if there are other bigger temples, in every village, in every town in India, we will set up a Devi temple. You walk into the Devi temple, she hits you in the face, you can't miss it, because it's vibrant. The color of vibrance is always red. It doesn't matter what kind of a person you are, if you come dressed in full red clothes, suddenly people will think you're vibrant, even if you're not. Red dress suddenly sets you off like you're vibrant. And to do certain type of sadhana, which is Devi-oriented, red is needed. And Devi is manifestation of vibrance that you cannot miss. So, the Devi temples always have very active involvement of red. So colors have some impact. It definitely influences a few things, but it's not everything. Certain types of substances are more capable of doing this, certain other types are less. They won't give certain substances. If you try to give it, they'll say, keep it here. They don't want to take it from your hands. Always you keep it down, I'll pick it from there. Never take it from somebody's hands, because so the body remembers any kind of intimacy, not only with another physical body, any kind of intimacy even with any physical substance, it remembers. Certain types of substances are more capable of doing this, certain other types are less. Various types of physical memories that we have picked up
not necessarily because of relationships, just by contact, just by coming in touch with so many things. People, situations, atmospheres, so many things, this body picks up memory. Physical memory, beyond a certain point that what you pick up, will cause a certain level of confusion. Confusion, not here, this confusion is a different thing, that is something you have earned. But physical confusion, if the body is confused, it can't come to ease. Now, the nature of the body is such that anything that you touch with a certain level of involvement will naturally absorb that memory. Not mentally, physically it'll absorb that memory. Traditionally, in this culture, we call this Runanubandha. You heard of such a word? Runanubandha. What this means is physical memory that you gather. Why people, you will see this with people, let's say in their home, they will go and sit in one place. This will usually the older people you will see, they want to go and sit in the same place. They won't sit in another place. Have you noticed this?
CV contract spot.
Even your dog, he comes if he wants to sit here, he'll smell this, he'll smell that, he'll smell that, he'll smell that. And after much searching, he will settle down in that particular place. Next time you chase him somewhere, he comes, he goes and sits in the same place. Because there is memory. Today there is forensic equipment where you're sitting here right now, you went away. After 2, 3, 8 hours, if they come, not with a dog. A dog can easily do it. But with forensic equipment, we come here and just check this chair and we know it was you who was sitting here, not somebody else. So there is memory. Wherever you sit, stand, whatever you touch, there is memory and transaction happening all the time.
Moving this way.
Runanubandha means the physical memory that you carry within you. This can happen because of blood relationship. This can also happen due to sexual relationships. That body has a certain memory. It's not appropriate to say genetic memory. Runanubandha is not like genetic factors being transmitted from parent to child, not on that level. There is a physical memory of remembering where you came from. Not necessarily in terms of tone of your skin, shape of your nose, how you're built, your race, not that. It is just that if you just as much as hold somebody's hand, you will develop Runanubandha. This is why in India, if you come, people will do like this. They don't want to do that. They will love you like this. And there are many things. They won't give certain substances. Nobody will give salt to you or will receive salt from you. If you try to give them salt, you will keep it there. They don't want to take it from your hands. The till or the sesame seeds, they won't take it from you. Certain types of soils, nobody will receive it from you. If you want to give soil to somebody, any kind of soil, there are rituals where soil is given. Always you keep it down, I'll pick it from there. Never take it from somebody's hands, because you will develop Runanubandha. Because the culture is constantly conscious of not building bondage, to keep the bondage of life to the minimal extent, only to the extent it's necessary, because you're working towards your liberation. Because of that, this awareness and this sensitivity has come. So existentially, when physical memory overlaps upon itself, it will cause a physical level of confusion, which will bring a certain level of discomfort, lack of exuberance, lack of involvement with anything, that you become a veteran when you're living. You must be a veteran of life after you're done with it. Before you're done with it, you shouldn't become a veteran, isn't it? But that will happen to you. That means in some way, because of overlapping memory, you become less alive to everything around you. That's what we're concerned about.
That you're becoming less alive.
Hostile!
So Devi and all the forms, different times with regard to Devi is about that, to bring grace in such a way that you can take up things and do things and you still do not get into friction. People who are actively involved in businesses, careers, family, life. One of the main things which does not allow us to be mindful, peaceful potential is friction. Friction need not necessarily mean to get into a fight with someone. Which I do in a big way. It builds up. To be able to keep the friction levels low determines how far you will endure. If the friction increases, you will want to stay behind. Or you get into one big mess. It does not matter how important a certain goal is for you. If every day when you step out and try to do something, friction is coming, slowly you develop an aversion to that very dear goal of yours in your life. Slowly you will become a kind of a renunciate because you can't deal with the friction. Most human beings, I would say 80% of the human beings have hugely curtailed the possibility of what they could do in their lives simply because they cannot deal with the friction that they naturally generate when they get briskly into activity. So they curtail their lives and keep it very small and protected. They think that's a smart way to deal. It's not a very smart way to deal because instead of bringing lubrication, you're keeping the engine off. That's not a good thing. If your engine is making funny noises, what it needs is lubrication, not to be kept in the garage forever. And the very purpose of why it is here is lost. So Bhairav Yantra is for those who are actively involved in life. And they want to lubricate. They have many things to do in the world. They want to do many things in the world. They want to lubricate their actions with the grace of the Devi.
I've marked one of the Dark Ether's top brass. Wanted, dead or alive.
So Devi and all the forms, different types of yantras available with regard to Devi is about that, to bring grace in such a way that you can take up things and do things and you still do not get into friction. Her grace will take care of that. We estimated if the homes are anywhere between 2,000 to 2,500 square feet of home, we thought the small yantra would do. When we noticed that the homes are larger than that, we said, this is not enough, and we brought the Avigna. And Avigna has a slightly more business-like attitude towards it. More for success and prosperity. But of course, those who want to make use of it for spiritual processes can always make use of it. That element is always the basic element. The idea is to create an energy form, to create assistance for people who do whatever they want to do. who are those people that you ask questions. In some way you want to make a fool out of them. That's all you're interested in. I don't know why nobody could answer this question. You will go and tell somebody else, you know what Sadhguru said, this is what it is, even he doesn't know. So, you went to Vipassana. That means just shut up and do it. You have to be too straight and blunt about too many things.
This question is from Decent Divan.
Whoa.
Respected Guruji, I am a Buddhist and a Vipassana practitioner. I have a question which I have asked many Vipassana teachers and other gurus, but everybody said that no one can answer this. In one of your video you mentioned, and also it is said in Buddhism, that rebirth is due to our unfulfilled desire or karma. I accept this, but then a question arises. Let us suppose I took birth for millions of times because of my karma desire, but before my very first birth, there was no body, no mind, karma, desire, or nothing of me existed. Then why and how that very first birth came to existence?
Now, even I'm wondering about that about you. Now, you're a decent guy, I'm like this, what should I do? Let's take that question further back. It's not just about yoga. Well, in the yogic culture, there are theories which are explained in the form of dialectical stories, how Shiva was like Shava. Shava means a corpse. He was inert. Phenomenal energy, but inert. Then energy or Shakti came and danced around him, upon him, then he got kind of hooked. Well, we are, picturizing it as a man and a woman, but that's not what we're talking about.
I'm dry.
Inert means nothing happening, no reverberation. No reverberation means no creation. Energy got introduced, reverberation started. From a simple basic reverberation, it got more and more complex. As reverberations became more complex, it became matter, matter became small molecules, they became planets, planets became many things, life happened, variety of things, you know the evolutionary theory from there on. Evolutionary theory only starts after life has started, or at the beginning probably, but if you go back, creation itself, we may not know the exact trajectory of how it happened, but we approximately know how it happened, even as per modern science. So in the modern scientific parlance, the same thing is said today that if you apply energy, not even into it, just around it, suppose you create vacuum in a container and apply energy not into the vacuum, just around it, virtual protons and virtual neutrons will erupt. That means creation begins to happen. Proton, neutron just have to get together for an atom to happen. Once an atom has happened, creation has started. So, similar things are said in modern science. I don't want to go into any theories, but obviously creation began somewhere. Somewhere means it may not be within the projections of human mind in terms of time, because it's not one, but in the yogic system, there have been estimates that there have been 84 creations till now, 83 creations till now, this is the 84th one. And up to 112 cycles of creation can happen. Beyond that, creation will be material-free, just pure energy creation. But we're talking in terms of maybe billions of years or trillions of years, I don't know. But those projections are made. Well, obviously it's just a theory. Nobody can prove or disprove anything about it.
Let's move.
But it looks like a plausible theory because the markings of 83 creations are there in our system in various aspects of life around us. The markings of 83 and this being 84 are there for those who look very closely at it. So how did you, such a decent guy, happen? About if I did not have karmic substance, how did I happen? That's the question. Well, you don't need a spiritual answer. Charles Darwin himself has explained this. You were a single-celled creature and then you became two-cell, then you became three-cell, then you became multi-cell. Now you become little more only. Decent. A decent development from a single cell has happened. In the process, from the single-celled animal, from an atom to a molecule, so you were also pre-life, became life, became more and more complex life. Complexity itself is karma. Karma is not necessarily, even now as you sit here, karma is not necessarily only what you do like this. The thoughts that pass in your mind are karma, emotions that pass in your mind right now are karma, simply, right? Because initially it's just a passing thought. Then depending on situations, how they corner you here, there, slowly it multiplies. This is even happening to every other creature. So gradually, karmic substance builds up, becomes more and more complex. Well, clearly, evolutionary sciences are telling us the initial human beings were very simple, half-bent human beings, very small brain, they couldn't think much, they just survived like any other creature. Everybody knows that, right? So from there you built your karma. I don't know why nobody could answer this question for you, everybody knows this. Maybe they thought you are not worth answering. These are all questions of the vain. Because mainly, your questioning is towards whoever those… I don't know who are those people that you ask questions. In some way you want to make a fool out of them. That's all you're interested in. You're not interested in knowing anything about yourself. You're not interested in having tools for your transformation or growth. You said you went for Vipassana. Vipassana means no questions. So you went to Vipassana. That means you must just shut up and do it. Not ask this question, that question, because that question or the answer will not in any way add to your practice. Maybe now I have said what I have said, you will go and tell somebody else, you know what Sadhguru said, this is what it is, even he doesn't. Or you will make it your answer and put it on the social media. Whatever you do, it's of no use. Existentially, if you want to move on, you must do something existential within you. You do psychological things and you think you will move on, you will not. Some of my advisors think this is a handicap, I'm too straight and blunt about too many things. That's the way I will be.
These are two things right now in the world which is taking almost 95% of human energy. You got both these things into your head, now you can't live well. You live like a deceased person. It will rule you from inside and destroy you in many different ways.
Eyes on Drip. Let's
Because
move.
man is not obsessed with money. Man is obsessed with what money can buy, isn't it? It is the empowerment that the money brings, which people want. It's not the money that they want, the empowerment that the money gives you, isn't it?
excess and the freedom that it gives you with the physical world, which people want. So, money is not the thing. Money as a means, yes. So is something wrong with money? What's wrong? We created it, isn't it? Otherwise we could have still continued our transaction in barter system. Because our transactions got complicated, barter became too tricky. We created currency. Currency became too tricky, so we created a card. So, it is just a means. Is something right or wrong about it? Nothing right or wrong about it. If money is in your pocket, it makes your life easy and comfortable. Because you have some money in your pocket, you're sitting here today thinking of inner development and things. If you were in the slum with no money in your pocket, today you wouldn't be sitting here. You would be just struggling to keep that house going, or building a boat to float inside your house. Something like that, isn't it? Because you got a little money in your pocket, today you can sit here no matter it's raining. It's going to flood. If it floods, it's okay, we'll stay in the house here. Because there's little money in your pocket, this much freedom, isn't it so? There's no money at all in your pocket, this wouldn't be possible. So nothing wrong with money. Money in your pocket is good. It stays in the pocket. If it enters your head, it becomes a perversion. For most people, it's entered their head and it's become a perversion. Keep the money in your pocket. Makes life easy and good. You can sit and meditate. Yes? If you have enough money that you don't have to work for your living tomorrow, you can just take off 1 month and just meditate, isn't it? Which the man who is struggling for money for tomorrow's food cannot do, even if he wishes to. So money in the pocket is very good. Money in your head, that's a perversion which will destroy you. You must keep everything in its place. These are two things right now in the world which is taking almost 95% of human energy. Money and sex. These two things are right now consuming almost 95% of human potential. Is it so? Even 95 is a conservative estimate. Yes, almost 100%. As money is in your pocket is good and nice, similarly if sex is in your body, it is nice. But if it enters your head, it becomes a perversion. It's gotten into people's heads. It's not in their body, it's gotten into their heads. If it was in their body, it wouldn't be all the time. It would be only some time, isn't it? It's gotten into their heads and it's all the time. This is a disease. If you know how to keep money in your pocket and sex in your body, then you would live your life well. You got both these things into your head, now you can't live well. You live like a diseased person because it will rule you from inside and destroy you in many different ways. Everything beautiful about you will be taken away once money and sex enters your head, isn't it? Right now, do you see the whole world is painted either with money or sex? At least the civilized part of the world. Isn't it so? Everywhere you see, it's dripping with either money or sex. Just drive in Bombay city and see. Every advertisement, every magazine, every book, it's either dripping with money or sex. Isn't it so? Now, these two things, if they fall into their natural places, where they should be, they are not a problem. They are fine. They have their own beauty attached to it. But if you exaggerate it in your mind, then everything becomes ugly. So money has become a problem because you don't know where to keep it. Keep it in your pocket. It's a good thing. you're interested in spooky stories. If the living get involved with the dead, they will lose their life in so many ways. All this spooky thing is sort of intriguing, but it can just consume your life in so many different ways, in many ways, in ways that you will not understand right now, and in ways that need not be very pleasant. It can consume your life completely.
Do not underestimate the dead, they will try to live through you. There are hundreds of people who think they are possessed and all this. There is a science like that. One can use energies negatively to cause harm to somebody else. It's mostly receded, very little of that is happening. But if you live in certain areas, certain parts of the country, this is very rampant. One thing is, if you have such impacts, you come and sit in the sphere of Dhyana Linga, because there are occult dimensions to Dhyana Linga which just nullifies all this. One Paurnami or Amavasya, when things are more receptive for you, just one day, just sit there and hope, that's all. It gets taken care of. This disembodied life has no discriminatory mind. It will tend to go by its tendencies. Whatever karmic substance which is still not dissolved, which will form a certain type of tendency, will drive it in certain directions. Certain directions means wherever there is life, and the life is of such a nature that it breeds minimally. For example, a tamarind tree. If you go and watch the other trees, you will see a lot of birds will be sitting for the night's rest. No bird will settle down on a tamarind tree because the level of oxygen around a tamarind tree is extremely low. It may also move in the direction of a yogi who has a certain mastery over his breath, because he is not breathing as much as others are breathing. A cobra also has a certain influence on this life, simply because it holds its breath for long periods of time. In the manifestation of life, the physical life, there is… let me separate this. There is life and physical life, for the sake of understanding. See, what has happened with death is, your experience of death is that somebody is gone. But the experience of that person is, he's exited the body. But there is a whole science, what to do at different steps. One of the first things you must notice is, if somebody dies, there will be people, the first thing they will do is they'll tie the big toes of the dead body together. Do you still do it or gone? Yes, it's very important, because tying up the big toes will tighten up the Mooladhara in a certain way, so the body cannot be invaded or attempts to invade the body by that life once again, because that life has not lived with the awareness knowing that this is not me. It is always believed this is me. Though it has come out, it tries to enter through any orifice that is there in the body, particularly through the Mooladhara, because that's where life generates. And as body starts cooling down, the only region where warmth will remain till the last point of warmth is always the Mooladhara. So it tries to get back. To avoid this, the first thing is tie the toes, so that that attempt will not happen, because this exiting is happening stage by stage. The reason why traditionally always we said, if someone dies, within an hour and a half, or maximum of 4 hours, you must burn the body because this act is going on.
Your physical body is something that you have loaned from the planet on which you live in. When the time comes, the planet will claim it back. But the other dimensions of you, especially the karmic shell, continues to play. If it is in a certain level of awareness, the disembodied being is in a certain state of pleasantness. It is this that is being referred to as heaven, because they have left their physical body in a certain state of awareness. They enjoy the sweetness at a certain period of time. A holiday, a vacation, before you take on another physical body. Similarly, if people live in certain states of fear, anxiety, anger, in certain states of ignorance, the karmic shell has acquired a certain kinds of unpleasantness about itself. This unpleasantness is what we refer to as hell.
All these things were taken care of in India. People understood these things as a normal procedure, not realized beings, normal people. There's so much built into the culture. If a person dies, all the clothes which were in touch with that person's body and too much in touch with that person's body, those kind of clothes are all burnt. They're never kept. Only clothes that that person occasionally wore, such things are given only to your blood relative, nobody else. To your daughter or a granddaughter or a son or somebody like this. And that also, first 1 year you should not wear it. Till the first anniversary of the death anniversary happens, you should not wear those clothes. Why these things are is, whatever when we are here, whatever we are in touch with, a certain amount of this energy is there in it. If you give it a certain kind of opportunity, these clothes will start behaving funny. Your grandmother need not come. These clothes themselves will start acting funny because there is a certain residual element in clothes that people have owned. There have been instances where, somebody dies and actually things moving around, especially things that they intimately used, those things just moving around here and there by themselves. In the immediate few days after the person is dead, that person is not coming and moving anything. It is just that whatever your energy that was associated with that is sort of withdrawing. In the process of withdrawal, there'll be a little bit of extra moment.
Normally when somebody dies, they say, this person is no more. That's not the truth. No more the way you experience it. But you believe it is.
Don't take body lightly. It's not a small impression. Unless you break it open, you can't leave it, isn't it? But when one realizes how they got in, now they know how to leave.
The person consciously sheds the body without damaging the body in any way. Like you shed your clothes, shed your body.
I'm driving.
Then we said that when a person leaves like this, truly no more. Once again, whatever you call it, just dissolve and become a part of the process.
What is the significance of ancestors? They're dead, why should we bother about them? The people that we refer to as your ancestors,
They may not necessarily be wandering around, hanging onto the trees, but they're living within you. How much of ancestry stays alive within you? On one level, it enriches your life. On another level, it enslaves your life. We are who we are only because of our forefathers. What they learned, what they knew, their skills, their technologies, their sense of life. We have imbibed all of it knowingly or unknowingly, every one of us. At the same time, if you let them live too strong within you, you won't have a life of your own. Because then, do not underestimate the dead, they will try to live through you. This is why so much care was taken, not in any one culture, across cultures everywhere in the world. Certain things were done when people died, so that they don't try to live through you too strongly. Because if they live through you too strongly, your life is wasted. That is, you will not be a fresh life. You will be sort of a carbon copy of an old life. How we handle the dead has substantial relevance to one's life. Both positives and negatives, if it become very strong influence upon your life, they turn into a negative process. It may be positive, but if it becomes a very strong influence, then it becomes negative.
Just by something like this, if two people just do this, if it's a perfect match, you can bring the building down. In the modern science, we are trying to explain it offers resonance. If any energy happens at a certain scale, sound gets produced. And when they break the sound barrier, boom, like a bomb it goes, and suddenly there's an explosive sound. Nothing exploded, but still you hear a boom because an energy is created.
Sadhguru, I read in the Mystics Musings that you clapped at the time of Dhyanalinga consecration and there was a crack on the linga. Can you explain the significance behind that, and is it the sound or is it something else?
You want me to clap now? Now, that is not because of the sound. The power of the sound that Panditji was saying is, in the modern science we are trying to explain it offers resonance. The Shruti is perfect on it to naturally break. As you were saying, the bridge breaking up is a classic example in every textbook, you know. Two soldiers are walking and a bridge which can take tons of weight will collapse just because two men are walking in unison. It's a classic textbook example. So just about anything can be cracked with sheer sound, just by something like this. If two people just do this, if it's a perfect match, you can bring the building down. We don't produce perfect musicians in the school. Okay, they'll bring down the building because being in absolute unison can create a certain energy where 1 + 1 is no more 2, 1 + 1 is a million. So, classical music, when two people sing, Jugalbandi is never about two people singing together. They're always setting this thing because the musicians who crafted this music are aware, or if two musicians are absolutely perfect, they could cause damage to the physical structure. People may just attain, their bodies may break, it is possible. The whole process that you see in the existence is from non-creation to creation, from unmanifest to manifest. But the other process is also happening. Today, cosmologists have recognized the whole galaxy will collapse into itself and become nothing. It will become a black hole, it's nothingness. and nothingness is recognized as the most powerful space in the existence. Today they're beginning to call it dark energy and whatever else. So essentially, sound is a certain kind of… it is the first step into creation, from non-creation. But yoga is about uniting that which is creation and that which is non-creation. Word yoga means to unite. To uniting that which is creation. Creation means a limited form. It may be a planet, it may be a solar system, it may be a galaxy, but still a limited form. In our perspective, it may be large, we may think the universe is unlimited. That's our perspective, an ant thinks you're unlimited. Our perspective of what is size is from the size of who we are. You know, we are looking at something is large, something is small. Essentially, any form is a limited space. So, yoga means to unite that which is limited with that which is unlimited. Couple them in such a way that we have the experience of both. That is why we are teaching you Shambhavi. That means it's a twilight zone where creation and non-creation both happening at the same time within you. The process of creation is moving from unmanifest to manifest. But another dimension, which is even more important, is moving from manifest to unmanifest. So this is a culture which recognized the significance and importance of that and held that as the foremost process in the existence. That is why we hold the destroyer as the Mahadeva. Destroyer means he is moving the manifest into unmanifest. So he is held as the highest because here we recognize that is the highest process. Making the unmanifest into manifest is a limited process. Making the manifest into unmanifest is the unlimited process. So that is the reason, though Shiva is a destroyer, he is held as a Mahadeva. So, cracking of the stone is not because of the sound. I don't even know if it made sound, it made some sound, but it's not the sound, it's a different process. Because if any energy happens at a certain scale, sound gets produced. Have you seen the airplanes sometimes, the fighter jets are going and when they break the sound barrier, boom, like a bomb it goes. All that happened is an object moved faster than what it was. From a certain limit, it crossed that limit of speed and suddenly there's an explosive sound, nothing exploded. See, nothing blew, all right, there's no fire, but there is sound. When a jet crosses the sound limit, there is no fire, there's no explosion happening, nothing great happening in the engines of the jet, but still you hear a boom because an energy is created. So, the energy is the basis of the sound. The sound is not the basis of the energy. It's the energy which is the basis of the sound. Because there is energy in this body, I can make this sound, isn't it? But at the same time, sound is the basis of energy on another level. It is because of sound that energy has happened. When there is no sound, there is energy, but it's unmanifest. It is simply there. So today, modern nuclear science is explaining this in a certain way, you know. You can see virtual protons and virtual neutrons being created if you just as much as add energy outside, not connected to this chamber. If you just play energy around, you will see virtual protons get created. That means creation is happening in an absolute vacuum space. So, in a non-existence, which we are referring to as Shiva, existence is beginning to happen with the first play of energy. So we said this is Shakti. Energy is Shakti. Once she begins to play, creation begins to happen. The first form of creation is always the sound. The first there was word. And it's both ways. We always try to understand everything logically. Logic always moves step by step. Creation does not move step by step. There's no point trying to logically put it on a blackboard and say this how creation happens. It's a silly way to go. There's only one way. If you cave into yourself, use whatever. You use music, sound or a sledgehammer, use whatever the hell you want to use. But if you just cave in, then you know it. every life form experiences a certain upsurge of energies within themselves. This upsurge of energies can be truly made use of only by those creatures who have their spine erect.
On that night, if you lie down, this means when the energies are trying to move like this, you're kind of obstructing it. It is not only that you lose the benefit, you could also harm yourself in a very sensitive way.
It has something to do with the astronomical face of this planet. This planet is a part of a larger family that we call as the solar system. That is a part of a larger family that we call galaxies, cosmos, whatever, names are names, but essentially, there is nothing happening here in an unrelated way. So we understand that at certain times, in certain positions, the planet behaves in a certain way. And we have figured out what phases of the planet are most advantageous to us. You need to understand this. There are certain… in India, there are 365 festivals in a year. Yes, today due to economic reasons and the way we have structured our work and things, a whole lot of them have died, still about 30 to 35 are being actively, maybe more than that, about 50 to 60 festivals are being celebrated by different people, but that number also is decreasing. Largely maybe about 5 or 6 are being celebrated in a big way. So, some of them are social, a few of them may be religious, but hardly any religious ones. Some are all connected to the calendar. Almost every Indian festival is connected to the calendar. What's happening in the solar system? We want to do something which is conducive for what's happening that day in the rest of the solar system. Why this is important is because what you call as my body right now, what is human mechanism, has come out of this planet. Most people don't get it till you bury them. They think they came from somewhere. No, this body is… solar system is working like a potter's wheel to generate this. So everything that happens to the solar system happens to you in some way. So there is a very keen observation of what is happening in the solar system today. Accordingly, we have crafted one kind of celebration and we do those specific things. So on Mahashivratri night, to cut it short, on that day, which doesn't fall on the same calendar, the regular modern calendar date, on that day, there is a natural… because, planet is not spinning like this, it is spinning a certain way and there's a precision to the planet. You know what's a precision? Hello? No, not precision in terms of exactness, I'm talking about what is precision in terms of the planet. The planet's axis is not simply rotating like this, it is going like this. It is a wobble, there is a wobble to the planet always. Because of that wobble, it creates a certain kind of situation on the planet. So on that day, especially in the northern hemisphere or only in the northern hemisphere, there is a natural upsurge of energy. There's a natural upsurge, oh, all this energy I don't believe, you don't. Just go sit on the coast. If there is a full moon night, is the ocean rising? Hello? So on new moon day, full moon day, do you see that the very ocean is trying to rise? Well, over 2/3 of your body is water. What makes you think water inside the body won't rise? All the fluids in the body are also rising. So you will see these things are there everywhere. If you've ever been in a mental institution, no, you could have gone there just for fun. You will see on full moon days and new moon days, people take extra care because those who are psychologically disturbed become far more disturbed. People think moon causes madness, that's why lunar and loony and all this stuff. Moon does not cause madness, it just pulls everything up. If you're a little crazy, it makes you more crazy. You're little loving, it makes you more loving. You're little meditative, it makes you more meditative. Whatever is your quality gets enhanced because it's kind of… there's an upsurge in the system. This particular day, after the solstice happens in December, 22nd of December is the winter solstice. After that, the planetary precision is such that there is a natural upsurge on that particular night in a very big way. If on that night, if you lie down, this means when the energies are trying to move like this, you're kind of obstructing it. It is not only that you lose the benefit, you could also harm yourself in a very sensitive way. All these things matter to you only when you want to be a full-fledged human being. When I say a full-fledged human being, you want every faculty that can be opened up in the human being, you want it to be opened. Not if you are that kind, by evening you're drunk and sleeping, what is there also you want to kill it, that's up to you. But if you want to be a full-fledged human being, you want to full scale everything happening to you, you observe all these small changes that happen in the system and take care of that. So you want to sit straight, you want your spine to be erect on that night. When energies are moving upward, you want to help it further go up, not like this. So, we created what is called as Jagaran, that means to stay alert and to stay erect.
There are 12 to 13 Shivaratris in a year. Of all the Shivaratris, the Shivaratri that appears in the month of Magha during February-March is known as the Mahashivaratri or the Great Night of Shiva. In the northern hemisphere on this planet, on that day, there is a natural upsurge of energy. Every life form experiences a certain upsurge of energies within themselves. This upsurge of energies can be truly made use of only by those creatures who have their spine erect. Our fortune of being human is we are the only species here who have graduated to that level of an erect spine. If you look at the evolutionary development of various species, you will notice that moving from invertebrate to vertebrate is one significant step, and another significant step in the evolutionary process is a spine moving from horizontal positions to vertical position. The true development of the brain happened only after the spine became vertical. As on Mahashivaratri night, there is a natural upsurge of energies. Keeping the spine vertical throughout the night has immense benefits. It is of